Hello everyone! I cannot believe I am making this video, but here we are. Today marks the 365th day in a row that I have made a video. Last year on September 12th, I posted a video that said, if I vanish on you again, I said I'm going to make this one last push, and if I vanish on you again, do not expect me to come back. You know, because I kind of got known for these super long hiatuses that came out of nowhere. I just suffered through so much burnout, and I would go through so many like mental stuff that it just stopped me from enjoying the video making process, and it just felt like a hassle or a burden. Like, oh God, I haven't made a video in like 2 weeks. You know, I don't feel like it. I've made them wait 2 weeks. I can wait another week. Like that's where my head was. That's not a healthy place for my head, and it's not a healthy place for a YouTube channel. That, you know, the algorithm will bury you with that mindset. So in that time, I kind of sat myself down and really just laid out like, okay, if I'm not enjoying the reviewing, what else can I do? What else can I talk about? So like in the earlier months, I was talking about myself. I was monetizing myself. Like, here, let's bring up my old fanfics, you know? Let's talk about where TJOmega, the emblem, and all that came from. Like, how old is that logo? That logo goes back to my high school years. Let's do a video where I talk like this. And everybody hated it, so I'm never doing that again. So, it was me trying to come up with other things that stay on topic but isn't a review. And that's probably for the best. So when I started this, I thought toy reviewing was going to be the backbone. I'm going to do at least 2 reviews a week just to fill out topics, and then like news will break that I can do full videos for. There'll be other topics I can talk about. So I thought reviewing was going to be the thing. Reviewing these days is a completely different beast than it used to be. Today, no one really cares about the toy reviews because we have people who steal their toys out of Vietnam, people who have factory connections and deal in black market merchandise. I don't care if it's just a toy. I don't care if it's from a huge company. Theft is theft. So you have these reviewers who have the videos out months ahead of anyone else. No one else can get an opinion out that anyone cares about because you've already got all these out. So it's not like, oh, the new toy hit and like everyone's got a video out within a week. No, by the time you or I can get a video out about these toys, the opinion has already been delivered to everybody months ago. 5, 6 months ago in some cases. No one cares anymore. Like, you're done. You're old news. You can have something that just dropped that day. You're old news. So it's not something to really count on. It's not something to really like make the backbone of the channel. And honestly, I do get exhausted with doing those reviews because it's kind of the same thing all the time. Here's the alt mode. Here's how it transforms. Here's the robot mode. Let's look up the close up the head, put it back down. It's the same process every single time, you know? Like, I can point out the differences. I can point out what is good and bad about it, but it just feels like I'm doing the same thing over and over, which is what burns me out, which is why my channel now is so random, and I just kind of like do whatever I feel like, whatever concept comes to my brain, you know, even if it doesn't work out. So so what actually became the backbone have been things like Here's 10. You know, I do one of those every couple of weeks, and they pull in either good views or fantastic views. You know, like, I've never done a top 10 because top 10s are very algorithm friendly. Let's be honest, always have been. I've never done one of these that have performed terribly. You know, they always either perform really good or they are bangers, and I get tons and tons of views. This one right now, my gold plastic top 10, has over 70,000 views, and I wish I could figure out how to do that every single week. like, the boost in revenue that would give me alone would literally be life changing if I could figure out how that happens every single week. But all I've been able to figure out is that topics that spark curiosity, that people go, oh, I actually wonder what made the top of that. I actually wonder what characters or toys was included in that list. Those those are the videos that do the best. But coming up with those ideas is few and far between, and sometimes it's entirely accidental, and we'll talk about that here in a bit. Tier listing is also something that is algorithm friendly. I feel like it's losing its luster. In the last few years, it got really popular. Now it's just kind of like, meh. But it allows me to talk about a lot of one thing. If I want to talk about, like, when I did like tier lists for every Armada toy and every Cybertron toy, and now obviously that means I got to do that for Energon as well. So at some point that will be a tier list as well. But it's one of those things where I could do, here's the 10 best toys from that line, here's the 10 worst toys from that line. And it'd be 2 videos, but that would also leave me with no avenue to talk about all the ones that are in the middle. So it limits, I can get I can get 2 videos out of it and cover 2 days worth of content, but I'm also leaving a massive piece of the topic out. So I feel like that's not fair. I'd rather make one video that gets it all. And that's what tier listing is really, really good for. Also, I kind of want to avoid like 10 worst videos. I'm trying to keep my videos more in the positive these days. Like, there are topics I will attack and be negative about, but it's coming from a place of honesty. I'm not digging on it just to dig. I am, like, when I talk about like Common Rider's push into the West is failing. When I talk about HasLab mismarketing itself, those are real topics, and it's not that I don't enjoy those things. It's that I see what they're doing wrong, I'm upset over it, and I want it to do better. So at least if I'm being negative, I want it to be a constructive negative. And when I'm doing a bottom 10 list, it's not always constructive. It just kind of feels like that plays into people's, like, they want solidarity in what they're negative about, and I don't like that. So I try to avoid that. That's another reason why the top 10s work. That's what reason why the tier lists work better sometimes than top 10s. Oh my god, I live for Monday. Like, Garfield hates Mondays. I love Mondays because Mondays means I get to do News Roundup and I don't have to think about topics. The hardest thing in News Roundup is doing the timestamps for all the different topics I talk about. That's it. Otherwise, Monday is like my easy peasy day. If I want a complete day off, and like Mondays are my Dungeons and Dragons day, so if I just want to just chill and relax and pretend I am a ranger in a mystical world, yeah, late Sunday night I'll do the news roundup. It's just as easy as going through the topics of the week, seeing what I want to talk about. Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to come up with a topic to talk about every single day, things like this are a godsend. When a big news story drops that I can just do a full video on, oh my god, it takes so much stress and pressure off. Like, I feel like that's my day off, really. So, yeah, the news roundup doesn't get huge views all the time, but it gets good enough to do it every week, and it's a mental break for me, which I think is really important. I also like doing my Toy Store Life videos. They get okay views, enough to keep going. And yeah, there's some weird topics and things that come up that you only know if you work a collector's toy store, when you work in a place like this. Because I feel like it's always like a toy collector's dream to like manage or own a store like this, where you're always surrounded by toys and your otherwise useless knowledge of toys is actually invaluable to the people who come in. I can't tell you how many mothers, grandmothers come in. They're like really made. Like, I can guide them through what they are looking for and why certain products need to be what they go for. Or the people who come in because of their nostalgia and they're like, what's, like, I had that one Soundwave tape that turned into like a little Stegosaurus, and I go like, that's Slugfest, and they go, oh, that's the name? And like, now they can actually go find the toy again, So I love being able to do that, and I love to convey those stories. Now, admittedly, Sometimes it's just, the realities of how this shop runs, and sometimes it's weird customers, but it's always fun for me to talk about. And I feel like for the right people, it's really informative, and you get to live a little bit vicariously through my experiences running this shop. So let's talk about some of the bigger things. So I did this video for every Optimus alt mode. And I thought this was just one of those back pocket ideas. I thought, in a rainy day when I can't think of anything better, let's just do this, because this just takes about 30 minutes of research. Just, a little bit of time to gather images that are the right quality and large enough to look good in the video. And it exploded, right? So, this is one of my most successful videos of the last year. When I look at this video and I see the reaction that it gets, and this did well over 10,000 views in the first 24 hours, and your thought is immediately, how do I do that again? And you think, okay, that well struck pretty good. Let's hit that again. Let's strike again while the hammer's hot. I think it was 2 weeks later I did every Megatron alt mode. Not nearly the views. Still did really well, but not 10,000 views in 24 hours well. It's one of those things where the algorithm likes Optimus Prime better than Megatron, so that's why it spread this video above the other one. Bumblebee might work, but Bumblebee really doesn't have too much deviation in what he transforms into. He's sports cars, he's little cute VW bugs or equivalent of VW bugs. There's not as much play there, even though the name would get traction. So it becomes kind of a dead topic. It worked once. I could do it for Starscream. I could probably do it for Grimlock, because Grimlock's had some weird ones. I could do it for Soundwave, because Soundwave is one of those characters that has to change all the time to work, as a modern toy. I could, but it's iffy if it'll actually work. So those are back pocket ideas. At some point, we'll pull those out and we'll talk about them again. But recreating this, I've never managed to do. I'm currently facing that dilemma again, because I just did this Beast Wars vehicle mode video, and it did good number. It did great numbers. So how do I do that again? So there's 3 directions in my head right now. I've got 3 videos because this one took off. There is doing the rest of the cast from the cartoon. There is doing the toys that were never in the cartoon and doing hard mode. Hard mode like, how do I come up with a vehicle mode for Retrax? What vehicle mode would be appropriate for Man Terror? That kind of hard mode. That would be fun, but I don't know if it'd get as many views. And then there is the flip side, which I think would get the views, which is picking beast modes for G1 characters. So when a video takes off, you immediately go, how do I capitalize on that, and how do I strike the gold again? And I have to make sure it's the right one, because if I pick the wrong one and it's a dud, it's going to hurt the chances that the next videos are going to have. So it's a weird gamble thing. And that's the kind of thing that goes through my head every time a video just takes off. How do I do that again? Because that's when the channel does best, is when that stuff happens. So how can I predict it? How can I create it myself? Sometimes you can't. Sometimes it's just luck, but you got to try. The last year has also provided me some really interesting opportunities. I've always wanted things like prototypes, but I never could convince myself to pull the trigger. But I got a few videos out of it, compensates for the cost, and yeah, it helps me make some nice little connections. Same guy who sold me those provided me the unreleased activator Soundwave, which many of you bought from him too. So I think everyone walked out happy. We all have super rare toys. He has money. So connections like that have been fun to make. They haven't always been positive. I've had a lot of people like, hey, your channel's doing good. We'd like to send you this. And we'd like you to do this for your channel, and be like plush toys. I'm sorry. That's not going to work. So it's been interesting. I'm starting to learn what like a popular channel goes through with like the marketing thing, the connection thing, things that I've never encountered before, things that I at my previous work rate I could never have actually gained. Now, preferably one day this kind of thing leads me to like being one of those that gets like a box of sample stuff from Hasbro, or like I get in on like early release lists. If TJOmega could talk about like the advanced stuff for the Transformer TC or tabletop game, or even one Dungeons and Dragons that's coming out, uh, that would be like an incredible accomplishment if we can get that far. That's the thing. It's another reason why trying to trying to strike lightning twice is so important, because that shows people that could advance me professionally, and that yeah, I am worth investing in. Also really important. And then there's things like this. This is just random. The biggest videos I made, this one took off huge, and this is just like how big the videos can get, and it's just a completely random idea. No idea it was going to explode like it did, but it's just the right topic at the right time. And right now, animated is in people's heads again for multiple reasons. So I kind of want to talk animated soon. Not a well we've already gone to, but then a different approach. So again, like you learn bit by bit what works, what doesn't, and kind of pick and choose when to strike again. Now, when you're ever doing something like this, when you're doing like daily content, you're just trying to figure out how to fill each day, you're going to have those successes that you want to replicate, and then you've got to accept that a lot of it is failure. I have to accept that not many are ever going to watch TJOmega, no matter how much I love talking about my D&D games. And I have to really accept that no one is going to care if I talk about video games. That's been like my biggest letdown. Not only the last year, but of my channel in general. Because every time I've wanted to do video game stuff, it's never worked. No one has cared. I thought, oh, everyone's kind of excited for the new Animal Crossing DLC, so let's do a video on that. Let's do like an actual like react to it, because I've never done a reaction video. So that's me trying something completely new. No one watched. I talked about new Pokemon stuff. Like I thought of all gaming topics to talk about, surely there's enough Pokemon fans in my crowd that will actually care about me talking about Pokemon. Nope. Didn't work either. So much as I would love to talk gaming stuff, like right now I'm loving Splatoon 3. But if I want to talk Splatoon 3 on this channel at all, I gotta sneak it in. I gotta sneak it into some Transformer related video. It's a little bit backdoor way of doing it, but that's literally the only way I would have the opportunity. Because if I do something directly video game, it's going to tank. It's going to be a failure of a video. And when I'm trying to advance the channel to the point where, it's a legitimate career and it's legitimately like how I make it day to day, I need the big videos all the time, and I can't like take risks on things that are going to flatline, which is unfortunate because it does cut me off from a lot of the things that I enjoy and a lot of the other things I'm passionate about. It's frustrating. So it's a chance that I can very rarely take. If I have a video that does 20,000 on day one, oh yeah, the next day I'm going to talk video games, because I'm going to try it again, and while I've got one success that can compensate, I'm going to take the risk. But for the most part, day to day, I can't. I hate that. I did Dark of the Moon trading cards. I originally filmed this as a Plastic Addict. I lost the audio, and then I had to redo it again with a completely fresh box, and honestly thought I would get more laugh out of this. I don't think the video is all that entertaining, so this one didn't turn out the way I wanted, but it was filmed, it was done, so I tried it. Not a big reaction. I thought it was weird, at the very least. So this is, again, one of those oddball ideas that I thought maybe had room, but not what I was really hoping it would do. There's a lot of videos like this where I thought, oh, that's a really good idea. Like I did that virtual tour of all the big important Transformer places in the real world. No one cared. It's hit and miss. And then, as we said, I love my Dungeons and Dragons. I love telling my tabletop stories. I will like always lament the fact that they never do well. There's people on my channel who love hearing my stories, but it never really culminates in something that is viable for a constant upload. Or like I could tell you a story every week. I could just sit here and recap my Dungeons and Dragons campaign for the week and tell you just like how the story is going. Not enough people. Not enough people. So when you do this much, it is disheartening when a video fails, but it's inevitable. There's no way to predict it or avoid it, so you just have to accept it, move on, try something else, and then maybe if you're in a advantageous position, then you try it again. Maybe it hits the right audience then. There's also ideas that I did one time I definitely want to do again. The 5 things that worked and failed, that is something I want to do for more topics if I can come up with the right ones that I think would actually be interesting. This was topical because the trilogy just ended. So now I have to think about Unicron trilogy is an obvious one. First 3 years of Transformers, it's staying in the same realm. But I could also do that with an individual Kamen Rider show. I could do that with an individual toy line. I could do that with any one video game from Transformers, etc. So, yeah, there's options there. So this is something that's going to come back if I figure out the right topic to do it with. The what ifs were also supposed to be something that I did more of, because there are plenty of what if stories in my head, and there is a part 3 to this. Every time I think, is it time for that one again? I look back and go, wow, it's actually been way longer since part 2 than I remembered. So this is going to be on its way back. I'm going to finish this story with a part 3, and then we're going to do something, a little bit different. Still in the same what-if realm, but still. Another video that I want to do more of is the Let's Fix Power Rangers Super Megaforce. Had some really good response to that. There are other shows I need to do that with. I want to do that with Kamen Rider Decade. I want to do that with Transformers Energon. I want to do that with a lot of toys. So, or a lot of different topics. But it's one of those things where I had to sit down and write it all out and formulate it all in my head. And that's where I'm losing my time these days, is trying to get all of this trying to get all this out and keep up to date with it, and then like the stuff that I have to write gets put on the back burner because it just takes too long. So it's a weird balancing point, but I do want to do more of this as well. I want to do more collaborative stuff too. Like, I think talking to Grimlockamus about repaints was a great video. I love the response that it got, even if it wasn't the biggest success of a video. Still did good though. So I would love to do that because I miss when Transformer creators could collaborate. I miss when we could like approach each other like human beings and it wasn't so cutthroat, bloodthirsty, everyone looking for the fastest views. We got that way in the late 2000s when, like I said, toys out of Animated and Universe 2.0 could be found on eBay. There were people throwing fits because they weren't the one to review it first. You know, like it was just, it was messy. It was messy. I didn't like how competitive things got. And now I feel like we're like, everyone who's still around from that time is just on the back foot because of the people who have those connections now. So I feel like it's being done to everybody. Like everyone who participated in that, we're all on the bad side of it now. But I would love to get with more Transformer creators on YouTube and do more stuff like this. Like I talked to I talked to Bolt Matrix more than once about pulling him in for a video, but like we could never get schedules to line up because he's super busy, I'm super busy. But if the opportunity arises, definitely want to do more. And I want to incorporate more friends of mine into these videos because like I have some really interesting friends with some interesting ways of talking. And I want you guys to see them because they deserve the eyes on them. And then, yes, there is the big one. I didn't think Plastic Addict would be like only one Like I thought Plastic Addict would be monthly, but what I've learned doing daily is that it's so hard to actually come up with stuff and keep the momentum going that it's hard for me to do what I did before. Like before, I was doing like I did 7 videos at a time. I put them out one by one just to see what the response was. I was doing them days in advance and then posting them on like 2 in the afternoon my time every day. Now I'm pretty much doing them by day, which is not how to do it. It's a much more stressful way to do it. But between the shop, my personal life, and just the video schedule itself, it is extremely hard to find a balance that lets me get ahead like I used to. So, like, one of the things I really want to do, and I want to do it for my Patreon thing because I know I'm not great at rewards there. I apologize for that. But I want to get 7 days ahead again. So everyone on my Patreon can have 7 videos that are not publicly out yet. And like evergreen stuff that I can post 2 weeks after I make it and it's still relevant, and then like, if I have like a big news topic I can do, then something I can, I will do that as a day-to-day video, and then the rest can just sit on the back burner. So as long as I can get 7 videos up, I can keep doing what I'm doing now, make a video every day, and just put it in the back of the line, and then just release them, and just release them to Patreon first. Everyone gets a 1 week jump on it, and then everyone else gets to see it. That's the hope. That's the plan, anyway. So I'm trying to improve my output. I'm trying to figure out the schedule balance, because that's been the hardest thing, is finding the balance to actually keep this daily thing going at the rate it's going. But you guys have been into it. I'm not out of ideas, so we are still going. So at the end of the day, looking back at a year of daily videos, too many videos for me to even remember or recount every single one. It's been incredibly difficult, but also incredibly rewarding. Like seeing my channel grow as fast as it's growing now. Like in the last year, like I spent years stuck at 37,000 subscribers, and now, or 36,000 subscribers. And like here I am, we're 10,000 above that now. That's big. And like in the last few months here, like I've noticed more people picking up every month than ever. I said I was hoping I'd hit 50,000 by my birthday. That didn't happen. So now it's like 50,000 by the end of the year, which, I need your word of mouth. I need your subscriptions. If you haven't clicked subscribe yet, that's where you guys come in to help me hit those goals, because, I have goals I want to reach. I told you a year ago, I don't want to give it up on YouTube for good until I have a play button that I can hang on a wall. Like TJOmega meant something. And I know it means something to a lot of people out there, but like to me, I need that accomplishment before I can say I'm satisfied with what I've done. So I think last year I said if I go away again, just don't count on me coming back. Right now I can say, knowing what I'm capable of now, seeing what I've done and what I have now, I'm not going away. Even if I go on another hiatus, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to do this again, and we're going to keep going on together as long as you guys want me to go. So as long as you're hitting the like, as long as you're hitting subscribe, as long as you are just clicking on the video and letting it play in the background, however you enjoy me and however you support, thank you guys so much for getting me this far. You're the only reason I am still doing this, and you're the only reason I am capable of doing it. So thank you, everyone. You are the reason TJOmega still exists. And I owe whatever I have to each and every one of you. So whether I'm talking about a random topic, doing a toy review, or just doing something silly, I'm going to try and entertain you all as much as I can, because let's be honest, after years of neglecting this channel, I still have more to make up for. So I hope you're along for the ride for a little bit longer, because we are still going. It's been a year, and I am not stopping yet. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.